What is up, everybody? You're very welcome along to the Late Night Agenda. And as you can see, I am joined by my good friend Kyle from Nothing But Reds. Kyle, how the hell are you?
Fantastic, Craig. How you doing, man?
I'm excellent. And look, Happy New Year to you and Steve.
Yeah, same to you as well. Happy to be here. 2021 should be a good year.
Transfer window is open. Away form is going to pick up. I feel it in my bones, mate. How about you?
It needs to, first off. But yeah, I feel it as well.
The big name that's been doing the rounds, and look, I'm going to be completely honest about this. Sven Botman, I knew nothing about this guy until we were linked with him. I've reached out to a couple of friendly journalists who I think are all still on the sauce over the festive period, probably still hungover. But it looks like there could be something to this. I know that you've been frantically, the same as me, doing some research to try and find out a bit of information. What's your take on the link?
Yeah, so I did a video on my channel as well. The links seem pretty credible based on the social media stuff. So if you guys haven't followed it, Sven Botman has been at his agency taking pictures. There's been rumors of James Pearce following Moy Monero on Instagram, all that stuff. I haven't verified that yet, but the social media stuff, a lot of people just run with that. And sometimes it's just over the top, like this person liked the social media post, but this is a little different. So with that said, I'm excited about it. And with his ability, like I said, knew nothing, like you said, knew nothing about him, knew nothing about the guy. So I did a little research. Seems like a good option for us.
He really does. And what you were saying there about social media and James Pearce liking, there was another interesting post as well. Jose Font, who plays alongside him at Lille, who was at Southampton at the time where we pinched Lovren and stuff as well. He basically said, you're welcome, in him helping out to get another player over. So it's starting to heat up, buddy, and the window's only just opening. And look, I don't mind if it's that gentleman Botman, if it's Pearce, but we do need to get another body in centre back.
100%. And it's interesting. I compared Pearce with Sven Botman because they're on similar levels, right? Pearce, I think, is 19 still. Sven Botman, 20 years old. Statistically, in terms of passing percentage, tackles per 90, long balls, all that stuff, extremely similar players. So either way we go, Sven Botman seems like the guy that we're going after. I'm good. I'm really good with. And it's a project. I was talking to you about this before the show. I think it would be a future project. Yes, we need another body in at center back just to cover for our injuries, but he's not like an over-the-top world-class player yet, right? He's still young. I think his FIFA rating is like in the 70s or something. Like, he's not like well-known, and I think that goes back to us saying we don't know anything about him. So it would be a project, but another Dutch player coming in, mentored by Van Dijk, mentored by Klopp, I think he can be something special. Not to mention he's massive. He's 6'4".
Nice. This is why I love our subscribers, by the way. Look at this. Pearce is following him from Mr. P there. You know what I mean? If ever I'm in doubt about something, I can turn to our subscribers and they're going to have the answer for me. And look, a few people may not have come across Steve yet, tuning in for the first... Excuse me, Kyle, my apologies. Maybe tuning in for the first time. This is Kyle from Nothing But Reds alongside Steve. They're going to be doing a show once a week. You guys will be here tomorrow, Kyle. What have you got in store for the subscribers tomorrow on the Nothing But Reds agenda? I love the name of that show, by the way.
Yeah, it's catchy. It's catchy. Well, we're going to talk about Sven Botman. We're going to talk about all the transfer stuff that's going down. Now, we're not only linked with Sven Botman, but there's a lot of news surrounding Divock Origi. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be previewing the Southampton match, going over match stats and everything like that. It should be a fun show. Looking forward for everyone tuning in, and we'll have a good time over there.
Yeah, for those wondering, it'll be 3:30 p.m. UK and Irish time. I think, what time is that for you guys? 10:30 a.m.?
10:30, yes.
So there you go. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to catch Kyle and Steve doing their thing. And again, we want to bring you guys the best talent from around the world on Anfield Agenda. And we absolutely love the work that Kyle and Steve are doing over at Nothing But Red. So make sure, there is a link in the description. Please make sure to go over and subscribe to them. And look, keep your questions or your comments coming. Hassie wants to be a bit greedy. So what does Hassie say? He says, get Botman and Schurz. Now, Kyle, I mean, I'm an optimist at the best of times, but I honestly can't see us going to get them both. And for two reasons. One, I want to see how Reece Williams gets on.
100% agree with you there. Reece Williams has surprised me more than any other player. And that's not a slight to all the other players who have played. You know, Fabinho has shown he's an excellent center back. Nat Phillips, great, brave, heads the ball, wins pretty much every aerial duel. But this kid, Reece Williams, didn't even know who he was until he played against Lincoln City. Literally had no idea who he was. He steps in, he does a job. The only slight that I have on him maybe is his speed. But I mean, he's so young to the point where I'm just like, wow, this kid, he can only get better. I mean, he's good, Craig. When you watch him, I mean, I'm excited. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, he's got an awful whiff of Virgil van Dijk about him. If you ask me,
and it's not just the man bun either.
Yeah, we've got a super chat here I want to read out. Said, afternoon, guys. I'm worried that we won't win the league. We've wasted our easy games and now United have an easier run. Are you guys worried? I'll let you have that one first, Kyle.
I'm not too worried. I've seen a lot of people say that as well. Now, to be fair, we have dropped points against teams that we should not be dropping points to. And I said this in the match, or not the match preview, the team news reaction last week. I was like, we shouldn't have any problem with this game, and look what happened. Same thing with Fulham. I mean, it's way too early to worry about that. I don't think anyone can look at the schedule and say, oh, this team has an easy run, or hey, we dropped the easy points. I think what we have to look at is form. I think what we have to look at is momentum, rhythm, injuries as well. We're starting to get players back. James Milner's back now. Matip, of course, is out, but Trent was out there for a while. We were relying on Nico Williams. I think we just got to be patient. Don't jump to conclusions and stay positive. That's what I'm all about. Stay positive and just go into each game just thinking that we're going to win. That's what watching the Reds is all about.
I love it, mate. And look, I'll add to that a little bit more. And we are still top of the table with a horrendous injury crisis, with, having played a really difficult start to the season. A lot of it, we won at Stamford Bridge. And yes, our away form isn't great. There's no denying that. But if we're not at our best, and we are where we are, which is sitting at the top of the table with players coming back, and look, Van Dijk and Joe Gomez are starting to do a little bit of work in the gym now. See them on the exercise bike. I have a sneaky feeling we might see Verge at the end of February, start of March, maybe, if all has gone well. But the real difference maker, I think, folks, and the real thing that makes me calm is a certain Spanish-Brazilian flamenco dancing superstar that's going to be shimmying his way into our midfield. And you know what I'm talking about. We got a little cameo, Kyle. Thiago, what a man.
I don't think I think everyone appreciates him, but like his first pass, Craig, the first time I saw him just whip the ball into the middle of the field on the ground, or when he switches play, it's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. It's just the sexiest pass I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm confident we'll go back to back. And what's Rob got to say? Rob said, will Liverpool win the title with the title getting in another defender? I think we'll do it either way. That's my honest opinion. But in regards to getting another defender, yes, I think it will help. And look, fair play to United and fair play to other teams that are putting a good run of games together. But nobody is going to convince me that we aren't the most consistent team in this league over the course of 38 games. And how weird is it, Kyle, that we're not even yet at the halfway point of the season? It feels so strange.
I know it does. And another thing I do want to point out, when I was looking at Man United's form, all three of their losses have come at home, which is pretty interesting because our home form, granted, we did draw, but we don't lose at home. So I feel like there's something to say for a squad that is joint top of the league, if you asked a Man United fan, which they're not. Losing at home says a lot about who you are as a team, I think, in my opinion. So it's just something to think about, 3 wins, 3 draws. I think we have 6 draws, 1 loss. 6 draws seems like a lot, but you're still getting 6 points from that. So I'm very optimistic in this.
What I'd also like to add is the fact that the last 3 or 4 seasons can't be seen as normal in Premier League standards. What Manchester City achieved and what we've achieved in points totals cannot continue. It's not sustainable. It has just been a crazy season or a couple of seasons where we've seen Manchester City hit 100 points, 98 points, Liverpool hit 97 points. It's just been remarkable. So to win the league at 86, 85 points isn't out of the norm whatsoever. So I'm calm about that as well. And I think the fact we've not overachieved, but the level has gotten to so high that we've forgotten what it's like to be normal somewhat and maybe lose the odd game or drop some points.
No, bingo. Yeah, we've been spoiled as fans, to be fair, because we've had these 2 excellent squads, world-class squads that'll go down in the history books for the Premier League with Man City and Liverpool. And you got to humble yourself when you think back to, the Brendan Rodgers days or the days before Klopp, when we were getting 56 points at the end of the year and finishing 7th and 8th. You know what I mean? And now when we draw, it's we are spoiled a little bit, but that's not a bad thing. I think we just need to just remember that, like you said, it's not sustainable to get 99 points every season. I mean, those are just outlier seasons, but still we've set a standard for ourselves, and it's fair that the fans expect the team to play to that standard, but we just have to be realistic with it. That's my opinion on it anyways.
I think that's a fair opinion. And look, this is a condensed season as well. Players have had a shorter turnaround break. And we have to remember, these are individuals, human beings. They go home to families. They have to worry about keeping their loved ones safe as well. And the bubble that, of course, they're in the Premier League. And it's one thing I want to get your opinion on is, if we have to be in a title race, if we don't just go and walk the league, imagine the buzz of going head-to-head with Manchester United throughout the season and then beating them by 5 or 6 points at the end. I don't know about you, but that will be almost an ideal scenario for me.
No, yeah, I love it. I want to be in a title race with Man United more so than Man City. I think the three teams, obviously Everton isn't going to be there in my opinion, but Man United, Everton, Man City, those are the three teams that make the title race exciting. I don't want to be there with Tottenham, or Leicester or anything like that. Granted, it's exciting to see, teams like Leicester stay in the top four and challenge those teams. But, the rivalry is what makes the games exciting. It's what makes the banter even just that much better. And if it's between us and Man United, we're in for an exciting second half of the season, Craig. I got to be honest with you.
I grew up getting absolutely slaughtered by my Manchester United supporting friends. I grew up in that period of banter where, look, I had 2005 and a few other cups, League Cups, FA Cups and stuff, but to really be in a position now where I think half the reason I say, Kyle, that I want us to go head-to-head with United is I really genuinely feel that we'll come out on top in the battle this season. So to those watching that are saying, no, I don't want to be in a title race with United, just imagine the buzz, though. Just imagine the buzz if we beat them. And I don't have any real respect for Manchester City. I've got to be honest with you. I have no respect with the way they've gone about it. But there is always, behind the scenes, been a begrudging respect between the two clubs. When the Munich air disaster happened, Liverpool were there to help out. After Hillsborough, Manchester United were there to help out. They are the two biggest, most successful clubs in English football. I think it's what the Premier League needs. I think it's what the damn world needs in 2021 to keep us distracted. And again, I can't think of a sweeter way to win it because we are going back to back, Kyle. I'm fully convinced of it.
Hey, I'm glad that you're so, optimistic about it and so confident. I think I completely forgot what I was going to say with this, but Man United, I think a lot of the fans that are saying they don't want to go in a title race with Man United, there's a big risk reward, right? The risk is obviously losing to Man United after Man United have been trash virtually since Fergie left. For the most part, they've been absolute trash with the exception of Mourinho winning the Europa League and finishing second, but the reward is going head to head with Man United and Liverpool coming out on top. Wow. In the battle, we can say that in the past couple of seasons, we've been better than Man United, but we haven't really been challenged by Man United in recent years. If they stay in the second spot, they'll be challenging us. And if we come out on top, it just goes to prove that this is our time in the Premier League to dominate. But you're right. The respect is there. And the combination of the respect and the rivalry is what makes it so intense.
We've got a comment here that said, Craig, I wish I had your confidence.
Me too.
I think I get that confidence from a couple of things. One, again, I'm not trying to disparage anyone else, but I've been in and around this sport for 32 years. I'm pretty certain that I know it well. I know a good team when I see it. And the confidence comes from the fact, what I touched on earlier on, is we've been nowhere near our best and we're still top of the league. And I can't see anybody else really improving. Yes, you can go into the market. Manchester United may going to get a centre-back as well. And other teams could go and improve. I get a feeling that Manchester City have all their eggs in the Champions League basket this season. They look like a team to me that not are almost giving away points in the Premier League, but are tweaking different systems and trying to play different ways because they keep getting caught out in Europe. And I think that is the one thing that Pep Guardiola needs to really make that his time at Manchester City a success.
I think I agree with you 100%. I think it's really like a weight on the whole club's shoulders and also mainly Pep. The Champions League, they haven't been to the semifinal, right? They've only been to the quarterfinals. I think that's the furthest they got, and they lost to us. I mean, it's a weight on their shoulders. I think, they're probably targeting that. But at the same time, I think at Man City, we've gotten a lot of criticism for it before. Klopp's gotten a lot of criticism for it. When you put the importance on certain competitions, like, for example, Klopp has been criticized for not putting importance on the EFL and FA Cups in the past. It doesn't seem like Man City are getting the same criticism. They're getting the same criticism because they're not winning the Champions League, given the level of talent. that they have on the field and in the coaching staff. I mean, Man City should be doing better in the Champions League, and it's just flat out the truth. They should be doing better, and I'm completely happy with the fact that they're not doing great. I hope that they go out in the round of 16 this year. I really do. Like, I mean, I have no respect for them. I think I'm on the same page with you there.
I like to call them an oil-rich Wigan. That's the way I like to describe Manchester City. I want to get your opinion on a couple of things around VAR, and you guys in the chat as well. If you have time, please do put in your comments. So let's look back at 2 incidents. Firstly, I want to look at a United incident. So I was covering the game yesterday on Mundo Sporto, Manchester United's game against Villa. And I got a little bit of flack from some Liverpool fans, and I got a bit of praise from United fans, because to me, that Paul Pogba penalty was nailed on. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was 100% a penalty. People have been showing me replays of Pogba tripping himself up, but they're missing the split second before that where the contact was made with the defender. Now, I do not want to be on here saying that United should have gotten a penalty. It breaks my heart. But I've always said I'll be honest in what I'm doing. So I don't know if you watched the game yesterday, but what was your take on that penalty incident?
So I didn't watch the game, but I did watch the highlights. My take on it is that VAR is... This might be an unpopular opinion. The last couple of weeks, I think it's been better. I really do. I think it's been, if it's not a clear error, they don't change it. That's just my opinion based on the games that I've watched. But it's so soft now, Craig. Like, penalties are so soft. The littlest stuff, man, like shoulder-to-shoulder contact is given as penalties. Like, any sort of reach for the ball, any attempt on the ball in the box is given as a penalty. It's becoming soft. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I think VAR should definitely be there. It obviously has its purpose. And I think the referees just need more time, and they need to be more disciplined and not be influenced by like the pressure of getting the VAR call right. But, oh man, it's just frustrating when you see soft penalties being given. And it's even more frustrating when penalties are given to Man United. It seems like every freaking match, Craig, they're getting a penalty. It really does.
Well, that's where I wanted to come to the second part of this conversation, because it's one thing me saying that should have been a penalty for Paul Pogba, and that's my opinion, and I stand over it. But where the fuck was VAR when Carl Darlow was basically trying to hug on to Sadio Mane's leg? How was that not looked at? No, I don't know what the coverage was over in the States, but over here in Ireland and the UK, there was nothing. Absolutely not checked. And how? It was a blatant penalty. Blatant. I was screaming at the television.
I agree. And I didn't even notice it until they played the replay back. When I saw Darlow's arm go up and grab Sadio's thigh, the first thing I thought to myself is he's literally hindering Sadio from going and getting that ball, because he had a chance. He 100% Sadio could have scored that goal. And for them not to look at that I agree. I didn't get as upset as most people, but I look at that and say, that's an instance where the goalkeeper deliberately hindered Sadio from going and getting that goal. And if, say, the keeper was rushing off of his line to, attack a ball and he clipped or grabbed the thigh of a player, it's an immediate penalty. So why shouldn't it be a penalty when it's on the goal line? To me, it just needs to be consistent.
Absolutely. It was ridiculous. And how VAR did not look back and say to the referee, I think you missed something there, and it wasn't picked up in commentary from what I believe during the game. And there was another incident that, actually, let me just pull up a comment, because there was a comment from somebody that I wanted to bring up. And of course, it moves quick. So here we go. It says, it's from Scott Clark. I agree, it's getting to the point where there's no point in having defenders we can't challenge for the ball in the box. And you often see that players just almost jockey them, try and push them out wide so they can, try and block the cross, and they are putting in challenges in the box. And I will come back to that. But there was one more incident that really annoyed me, and it may again have gone unnoticed by people. Mohamed Salah was flagged offside in the first half, and he wasn't offside. Now, where was the leave the flag down, let the play progress, and then go and check if he was offside? That's supposed to happen. The linesman's flags went up, it replayed, and he was onside. He was completely onside. And again, I just feel like these are little things that if we talk about as Liverpool fans, people are going to say we're salty, but they're factual things. The flag should have been kept down and play should have been allowed to continue. I'm not saying we'd have scored from it. We may not have, but that's the instructions that I believe that the officials have been given.
No, right. It needs to be consistent. And I think everyone can agree, even if there's an offside, I think you should let the play go on. And the whole point of VAR is to be able to go back and review it accurately and not rely on the subjective thinking of the linesman or the on-field referee. If you let the play go on, it's the exact same thing as playing advantage. So I guess the argument could be made that the linesman was like calling the play early, didn't think there was a scoring opportunity, but it doesn't matter. It should be consistent. Let the play go on. If they score, just go back and review it. It doesn't, to me, it just needs to be consistent. That's it. That's all it needs to be, is consistent. When I see inconsistency, that makes me more mad than anything.
Speaking of inconsistency, you've led me in rather nicely to a talk about our front three, mate, and the chances that we wasted against Newcastle. I mean, there's two ways to look at it. One, you've got to be getting to the right positions to miss the chances. That's one way of looking at it. But secondly, it is frustrating as hell, and we cannot afford that at St. Mary's on Monday night.
I agree with you. I will say, though, that Bobby has been looking better. When was the last time you saw Bobby with this many chances with his head? Granted, he's only scored 2 with his head, I think, but still, Darlow made an excellent save. Darlow saved them the loss. He did, because that was a great cross from, I think it was Chamberlain, actually, to Bobby. Bobby's header, he headed it exactly where he was supposed to be. It was a great save. Going back to your point about chances in the box, it was just one of those games, Craig. You know what I mean? Like, we were watching, Salah wasn't doing anything at all. Like, he didn't create anything special. Sadio was struggling to break him down. And you got to give credit to Newcastle. I really think Newcastle were physical. They were dropping between the lines. The amount of interceptions they had on through balls was astounding. Like, we couldn't get anything through their lines. So I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate, giving credit to Newcastle. But at the same time, we need to be clinical. When you have the best front three in the world going up against Newcastle, you got to score. You got to score.
I know it's easy to be a genius in hindsight, but a lot of us did say this before the game. When you see a midfield that has James Milner and Jordan Henderson in it together, I'm always worried that we're going to be lacking creativity. And not that a lot of our play does come through the centre. At times, we use our fullbacks and our centre-backs to set up play, but I think that's why Thiago was brought in. But one thing that really annoys us, and I want to get your take on this, Kyle, is why on earth a manager of ours that wants 5 substitutions is leaving it until the 75th minute in one case, and then until 3 minutes to go to bring in Shaqiri. Why is he leaving it so long when we as fans can see it's clearly not working on the pitch?
Yeah, the thing is I trust Klopp so much that I don't question when he subs on players like 95% of the time. I really don't. The Shaqiri substitution, I really think it was because Newcastle were wasting time, and I think Klopp wanted more than the 4 minutes that was given. I really think that is what it was. That's just my opinion. But it also comes down to the fact that, yeah, we need creativity in the midfield. We go back to the Champions League 2 seasons ago where Wijnaldum, Hendo, and Milner were starting every single game, and we lost every single game that they started. And you think, like, you get worried almost. I do. We lack the creativity, but at the same time, like you brought up, the fullback play, we just need to find that balance. And I think with Ox coming back, a lot of people have been critical of Ox, but I think those midfielders, Thiago especially coming in, having a world-class cameo, it was unbelievable. I think those little tweaks, that's all we need. And it's a noticeable difference. First pass Thiago makes, we're creating a chance. The little things like that, I just think Klopp needs to remember that. And then when he goes into the next game, say, hey, maybe I should sub earlier than the 75th and 90th minute. Maybe I should put Thiago on in the 60th minute if we're not creating chances. You know what I mean?
I want to touch on that again in 1 second, but I just want to read this super chat out from Pat. I'm confident we'll win the league. In the Reds, we believe. Happy New Year to all in the Reds family. Pat is an absolute gent, a regular on the channel. And Pat, lots of love to you and the family, buddy, and a Happy New Year. Yeah. On the substitution thing, it gets a little bit frustrating. The thing that really took the piss for me was when he brought on Divock Origi and left Takumi Minamino on the bench when we were chasing the game away from home. Look, you wanted to talk about Origi maybe engineering a move out of the club in January, and I absolutely echo that sentiment as well. But what message? At the time, I just thought, what message does that send to Minamino?
Part of me wants to believe that Klopp, before each game, whatever decision he plans on making, he justifies it with the player that it would affect. So, for example, with Minamino, part of me thinks that Klopp said, look, I'm going to sub on Divock today. Has nothing to do with your ability. You've been great, but we're trying to push a move for Divock, and we want to get him some playing time so other teams can see. That's just me being an optimist. But to your point, I think it also sends a message to Minamino. Like, Minamino's been doing, I think when he's on compared to Divock, he's way better of an option. He's more energetic. He presses, first off. He can at least play the center forward role, which Divock can't do. I mean, at least he's grown out of it. I think you bring up a good point with the fact that it may send a negative message to Minamino. What do you think?
I think it does. It's really strange because Klopp's been talking up Minamino so much, said how great he is, how great his attitude is, how great he is in training, how well he takes on and processes information. And to be fair, Takumi Minamino's been asked to play in a different position in this system. He's been asked to play in that attacking midfield role, which could take some getting used to, but it was just a strange one for me, and I hate to be critical. I'm like you. I love Jurgen Klopp to death, and I think the man can almost do no wrong, but it was a very strange one for me. And there's a super chat come in from Carl. Carl, Happy New Year as well to you. And Julie said, strikers look scared to shoot. Maybe they're under orders to only shoot when the chances are clear, so they don't look selfish, which they're not. Now, on that, statistically, shooting from long range isn't as beneficial. Paul Tompkins has done some great work on that one. But you touched on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain coming back earlier on, Kyle. And if there is a man that likes an out-strike from outside the box and is capable of it, that is the boyo right there.
He loves a screamer from 35 out, doesn't he? I mean, Ox, I like Ox's boldness, his boldness. You know, Fabinho does it from time to time too. I think he tried a shot. It was either against West Brom or Newcastle. He tried one. But, I mean, I think Ox brings that element, that threat. You know, the threat that Coutinho brought when he was here, where Coutinho cut onto his right foot. It didn't matter where he was on the field. Defenders were worried about him taking a shot. And I think if we can have that attacking, that goes back to the creativity you were talking about. No one is afraid of Wijnaldum taking a shot from 25, 30 yards out. No one's afraid of Henderson doing it. No one's afraid of Milner doing it. So when you have that player in there, it forces those deep line blocks up just a little bit and maybe just opens up that space we need for Salah or Mane or Bobby to just cut between the lines and create the chance. Like, literally, that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah, I'm excited. The prospect of Klopp having Thiago at his disposal, a fit, hopefully, Keita at some point at his disposal, Shaqiri at his disposal, Takumi Minamino, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, that's the creativity. That's where we can change games against that low block, like you've said. And it went through a phase where I felt like we'd figured out the low block. We felt like, we've sorted this out. But now I wonder if we're almost too predictable in the way that we attack at times with our full-backs and with our centre-backs and those long diagonal balls in behind. You touched on Salah not really creating much. Every time he gets the ball, there's three players around him. So we need to learn to exploit the space that those three players are leaving elsewhere on the pitch. That's my take on it anyway. Yeah,
no, I agree. And they were doing it to Jones too. I mean, Jones was getting pressed, triple teamed every time Jones got the ball. And I don't know if they were game planning for that. Like, they know he's under pressure. He'll give the ball up. But, you know, Salah's going to get double teamed, triple teamed every time. And you're right. Thiago, I hope Keita can get back to being healthy. That is the most frustrating thing for me. As soon as a player gets into a groove, they get injured. I mean, and it's just a pattern with this squad. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, like you said, we haven't been at our best and we're still top of the table. So something is going right. And I think it's Klopp. I really do.
I've just recorded my preview, folks, for the game. That's going to go out tomorrow morning. So my predicted 11, my score predictions and stuff like that. So please do keep an eye out for that one. But Kyle, what would you be going with score prediction wise, and maybe even give me a predicted 11 if you can before we head off?
So I'll give you a predicted 11. I stopped doing score predictions because the last time I predicted a score, we lost 7-2. So I stopped doing that. But
I don't remember that game, mate. That doesn't ring any bells.
Well, good. I'm glad you don't remember it. Yeah, I'll probably go Fabinho, Reece Williams at the back with Trent and Robbo. Midfield, you gotta give Thiago the start, right? Am I crazy?
No, I think there's not a hope in hell. I mean, or let me break a scenario down for you. The medical department will say he's only able to play X amount of minutes. Let's throw out 45 as an example for that. Mm-hmm. If you play him in the first 45 and things aren't working out, your gut instinct as the manager is going to go, can I get an extra 10 out of him? Can I get an extra 15 out of him? And I don't want him to pick up an injury. I love him. I'd love him to be starting, but I think he's maybe a week or two away from being considered. I'd rather see him come in for the last 30. But look, hey, if Klopp and the medical team say he can play 90, I'm all over it. I just don't think yet the medical team will give the nod. But I'd love it. Don't get me wrong, mate. I would love it.
Yeah, so I'll agree with that then. So I will go with Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Jones with Thiago coming on in the 60th minute. I think that's fair, easing them back into getting those playing minutes. And then you got the front three, standard front three. And I think you got to give Minamino a shout in this one. You have to eventually 60, 70, 75th minute, something. If even especially if we struggle breaking them down, I think it'll be an open game. Personally, I don't think Southampton are going to sit back. I mean, maybe they will, but I think they have the talent going forward. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they've similar philosophies. Ralph Hassan, who will be back on the touchline, by the way, after serving that isolation period, he'll be back on the touchline. We all like to see Danny Ings doing well, but not in this game. Obviously, we don't want Danny to be scoring in this one. It's great that so many Liverpool fans have nothing but love for Ings. By the way, it was a player that left the club that everyone just went, completely understand why this is happening, and it's great to see him out there getting games and being injury free, and long may that continue. With regards to the game, I think you're right. I think it'll be an open affair. I don't think Ralph Hasenhüttl will set his team up to sit and defend. They're in 9th in the table before the games that are going on right now, so they don't really have to look over the shoulder and worry about relegation. It's all set up for an interesting one, but the main thing is we need the 3 points. Then we get revenge against Villa in the FA Cup. That's next up on the list as well. And we'll then run into the United game, man, which is going to be an absolute belter on January the 17th. And I'm already getting butterflies in my tummy thinking about this one.
It's going to be intense, especially the build up to it, because I'm pretty sure there's a gap in play of like maybe a little over a week between the FA Cup game and the Man United game. So the anticipation for that match is going to be crazy, unless we have a Champions League match. But I don't think we do. So
no, February till we're back with
right. So there's a little bit of a gap, and going back to the Danny Ings thing, I just want to say I love Danny Ings. He was just so unfortunate with the ACL. Literally comes back. He's training for 2 weeks, tears the same exact one. And I loved him. I still love him. And you're right, just not in this game. Not in this game. But the last 5 fixtures against Southampton, we've won. They've been battles, to be fair, but we have come away with the 3 points. So I'm confident going in. I'm not going to predict the score, but I am excited for the match.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, and I'm delighted for Ingsy as well. It shows a lot about the guy's mental strength that he was able to make that move to Southampton and continue to go out there and score goals the way he has. Look, ladies and gents, we're going to bring this one to an end, but thank you so much to Kyle from Nothing But Reds. And again, make sure you go over and subscribe to that channel. Kyle and Steve will be here tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. on Anfield Agenda, doing the Nothing But Reds agenda. Mate, have a cracking weekend until we're ready to go on Monday night, and pass my best on to Steve as well. To everyone in the chat, we love you guys. Appreciate you as always. Kyle, I'll let you say a little goodbye before we head off.
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. Always great to be on with you. Thanks to everyone in the chat too. And be on the lookout tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. our time, 3:30 for you guys. Come hang out, have a chat, and should be fun, Craig. Thanks again.
Always a pleasure. And look, folks, I'll be back for a watch along of the game on Monday night as well. My preview and score prediction will be going out tomorrow morning, so keep an eye out for that one. And again, thank you to Kyle. We're going back to back, folks. That's just the way it is.